And we are back. Welcome back to the Becoming Podcast, episode number 2. I am your host, Rogelio Diaz, and today we are going to be diving into why you still self sabotage even after you know the root, even after you know where it came from, even after you know why that trauma or that limiting belief is there. And before we jump into it, I just want to apologize for last episode's audio. I got a new mic and I was messing around with it. And I didn't realize it was cutting off here and there. So I do want to apologize. I think I got it. I think I fixed it this time. We should be good. I am not the best with tech, but I'm doing my best. All right. So let's go straight into it. So here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. It's one thing to be conscious, but it's another thing to fully process what you went through, right? Because you can be aware, yeah, this hurt you. You went through this. Okay, this is who hurt you, but there's there's levels of depth to feeling X emotion, right? So sometimes some of them you felt the full traumatic experience. Other ones, there's still more to feel, and that's all right. It takes time. I'm still processing stuff from working with ayahuasca that I went after 2 years, right? It just you don't know how long it's gonna take, and that's okay, bro. Don't put a time limit on it. The worst thing you can do is put pressure on yourself to heal it now, to make something happen now, right? Because your subconscious mind is working for you, but you gotta let it. Just give yourself space, give yourself self care, give yourself time to heal in that sense. And I'm not a big believer in saying I fully healed something because you don't really know, bro. Right? Like you don't really know how much of it you heal. So maybe you could I'm more of the kind of person that would say I've healed a bit of this, right? Or I've gone deeper into this because and I've been there before, right? I would say, you know what? I've healed this. Right? Like I would say, I've healed this, man, and that's the thing. Sorry, I thought it wasn't recording for a second. I was about to say, oh no, man, that would not be good. But one of the hardest truths I had to learn is that finding the root of your pain does not automatically free you. Right? Comment if you can relate to this. A lot of people know why they self sabotage, but they still keep repeating the same loops. Right? Relationships always come to mind. Um, you know that you shouldn't be with that person in that sense, right? But there's still more to uncover from what happened with the previous person, and it can be in friendships. There's so many. It relates to your life in every way, right? But here's the thing: you have a chance to stop the pattern, right? When you're in that situation where you're about to repeat it and you become fully aware of what's going on, bro, that's your chance. That's your chance to speak up. That's your chance to do something different. But if if you don't, that's all right too, because it's gonna happen again, and you're gonna have another chance. And I believe there's like these waves of change that we go through, and you get closer and closer and closer to finally making that decision because it's a choice to change the pattern, right? To stop self sabotaging, to no longer believe X about yourself. I remember for a long time, I believed I was a failure and I would self sabotage and get overwhelmed and just find ways to keep myself where I was at, find ways to play small, find ways to make sure I didn't succeed, right? Because if I succeeded, then that would completely contradict the belief that I was a failure. And that's the thing. That's what we do, man. You really got to know yourself in so many ways. But there's also this false hope of awareness when it comes to, right? Like, believe it, when it comes to still self sabotaging, right? Even when you know the root, there's, and what I mean by that is that we often think, now that I know where it came from, I should be fine, right? And while that awareness is powerful, it's it's kind of pointless without new action, right? New standards and emotional reps that can actually change and rewire your mind, your brain. This is what matters, dude. Right? when I was living at my parents, and honestly, I felt like I stayed there way too long. I was 27. I'm 32 now. Like, I was aware. I was aware that I I wanted to leave. I found I felt caged. And but here's the thing: I wasn't really doing any new actions, right? It took a minute. It took a minute for me to finally say, you know what, enough is enough. And we all get to our breaking point, and it took going to a retreat in Sedona for me to finally see an opportunity, or create an opportunity, may I say, to leave. And but it got so bad to where I literally I drove 24 hours there, in my car, in my luggage, and I couldn't go back. It was, I'd rather find a new way there than go back and be who I used to be. And that was the big new action. And sometimes it got to be that drastic, bro. And there was influences along the way to kind of shape that decision. But I had the awareness that I had to move out for a while. And don't get like I tried, but I know I could have done more. And that's the thing. I could, man, if I really wanted to, I would have got a full time job, saved up, because I had my mindset of being an entrepreneur, and I refused to get a job. But if I really wanted to, I could have done that. And that's the thing. Like, what new standards, what new actions, and what emotional reps are you willing to do to get what you want? Right? To make the changes happen in your life. You can't just say you want it and not do anything, bro. Right? Man, I got a cousin that it's all talk. It's all talk. And I try to give him advice. I try to say X, Y, and Z, but there's no one can change you but you, because Bob Proctor said it best. People don't resist change. They resist being changed. So I could tell you all the advice in the world, and I can share with you all the wisdom, all the knowledge, that I've accumulated, but it ain't gonna do anything for you. It ain't gonna do anything until you really see that, damn, I gotta act. I gotta do something, right? Also, here's why the self-sabotage keeps happening. We all don't forget about your nervous system, right? It still associates growth with danger. There's so much uncertainty. There's so much unknown. There's the unknown of making change. And who are you without all these habits? Who are you without, right, that bottle, without that joint? Who are you without that? What if, God forbid, you realize that you're not a loser? You realize that you're not a failure, right? It's crazy how the mind tries to protect us, and the CNS as well. And because the mind understands the wound, right? But the body still pulls them back. It still pulls you back to what's familiar. And this is where the internal conflict happens, right? In simplest language, like, this is why you take one step forward, 3 steps back. But you really do get to a breaking point. And for some people, it takes 5 years. For some people, it takes 10 years. But you get to that 10-second miracle, as they call it in AA. It takes 10 years for that 10-second miracle where you finally decide enough is enough. You're not going to live another second in this reality. The change has to happen now. You've hurt so much. There's been so much pain that you cannot live another day how you've been living. And it has to get, that's the only way I changed from being an alcoholic, bro. Like, it was so bad, right? It was so, like, the pain forces you to change. And as long as it happens, man, like, as long as the change happens, like, that's all I care about, right? Because we all grow in different ways. But here's the thing: if you keep being afraid of growth, you'll never be who you were meant to be. You will always be living half of your potential, if that, right? But when you push yourself, when you embrace that growth, when you embrace the healing journey, when you embrace who you want to be, and at least give yourself a chance to become that person, whether it's investing in yourself, whether it's, again, making a leap, how I left Chicago to move to Sedona, Arizona, whatever that decision, that life-changing choice, that where you burn the boats and this is going to be the way where your life changes forever. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like, I I was at, man, 5 years ago, right? 5 years ago, I knew I was I was living a mediocre life. I knew it. I knew I was comfortable at my parents. I knew I was going out too much and drinking too much and partying too much. I knew all of that intellectually, right? But that comfort destroys, man. I'm like, I didn't have to worry about bills. I didn't have to worry about my car payment. I was good, man. I was good. And that's the thing. It was too good. And also I was messing up my sleep schedule because before I was the person before I was in this stage of just partying and stuff. I was a personal trainer. I was driving an hour to my studio with my business partner, and I had a business partner. And before that, I was getting up at like 2 in the morning to drive an hour there for my first clients, like at 5 in the morning, and just get set up and stuff like that. And I was I kept that sleep pattern, right? So it was hard for me to break that for a little bit, but that was also messing up my productivity because I was exhausted by like 5, 6, 7, and I couldn't produce how I wanted to as well. Even though I did wake up in the morning, but I was like wired and tired kind of thing. Taking a lot of caffeine, a lot of caffeine tablets. I'll tell you that. But point is, like I knew, like after that, the personal training studio came to an end, or that chapter. I was slowly going back to my old ways. And again, I used to be an alcoholic, and I was, I knew I couldn't keep doing this, man. Like I knew I had to do something else. And I remember so many nights just angry at myself, just pissed, like, why can't I change? Right? Why? Like, and I was asking the universe, like, where are you, universe? Where are you, God? Like I was being a victim, man. And and I remember one time I got addicted to pre workout, and but that did help me with the alcohol, kind of wing off of it to one addiction for the other, right? And I realized that um I ended up saying that why do I have to let go of everything I love? Because I from getting addicted to pre workouts and drinking like crazy and eating like crap, I burnt out my adrenal glands. And actually, that was a part of it. That was a part of it because after I went on a 3 day water fast, and I took 2 scoops of like intense pre workout after that 3 day fast, and that was a big no, man. I did that for 3 days after the fast, and that's when my adrenal glands started to burn out. I had no idea what was going on, but it that started this whole adrenal healing journey for me. And I dealt with adrenal fatigue, CNS fatigue, all this, whatever you want to call it. I was tired, bro. I was exhausted, and I messed myself up. And I had to forgive myself for that too, because I didn't know what I was really doing to myself, man. It wasn't until years later that I realized I felt anger and resentment towards myself for doing that to me. But point is, um, I got addicted to the pre, and yeah, messed myself up. And I I was being a victim in the sense that I said, why do I have to drop everything that I love? And everything that I love was everything that was bad for me. The alcohol, I was getting mad because I had to stop drinking alcohol. I was getting mad because I had to stop drinking pre workout because they just made the adrenal fatigue even worse. And my mind was foggy, and I was waking up tired. I needed to take 3 naps throughout the day. And I was just like, my body was trying to my body was giving me clear indicators, bro, that I needed to change. And I just couldn't let go. Right? I mean, I know I got this. I had like a dopamine addiction at the time too, and I mean, even now, there's still that part of me that has like that addictive personality. But I it wasn't until I left Chicago and I wasn't in a new environment that I really started making some changes, man. And it's been ups and downs, right? It's been ups and downs because even when I got to Sedona, it was trying to come back, that urge to drink, is the loneliness. There's like a growing up, I was by myself, man. My parents were out working, and I was alone a lot. And there's a part of me, little Roy, that's so afraid of that loneliness, right? And I've done some work with it, and I felt it working with ayahuasca. I went deep into that loneliness, but I mean, I've done a lot of work. Can I say I fully healed it? I don't think so, but I've done a lot of work with that. Um, but yeah, guys, like sometimes things that are trying to leave out of your life can be patterns, substances, and your body, your spirit is doing you a favor, and you gotta know why. You know what really helped me let go of that or change that, at least a higher purpose. When I started doing this kind of work, I knew I couldn't be on the same BS. I had to be focused. I had to be centered. I had to be present, right? And that's what helped me change, man. As well, higher purpose, a mission, something that's beyond you, something that pushes you, that drives you, that inspires you. That helped me overcome addiction as well, right? But I'll leave you with this, guys. The hard truth: some people are not stuck because they do not know enough. They're stuck because they keep betraying what they know, right? They keep betraying what they know. That part of you that knows what to do, that's leading the way, that's telling you, hey, man, you got to learn this, go deeper into this, get help from this person, right? You can't betray that part, man. Because when you're the lower self, the old you is leading the way, you're going to stay exactly where you're at for years, bro. And I'm talking from lived experience and from seeing a lot of warnings around me as well. So that's the hard truth, man. Like, we know what to do. And with the clients that I've worked with, right? Like, they knew what to do, but they sometimes you got to give yourself permission, right? Because sometimes they would ask me questions that they knew the answers to, but they wanted permission from me so they can give permission to themselves, but they already knew what needed to be done. And that's all right. Sometimes you need people to believe in you before you believe in yourself first, and that's all right. I'm a believer in that too, because that's what I've gone through that, right? But yeah, guys, I really hope this episode has helped you. And what actually changes people, right, is healing plus finding your truth plus repetition plus hard decisions. And the change comes, man, when you stop negotiating with the version of yourself that wants comfort more than freedom. You got to be willing to stretch. Be offensive, not defensive, bro. I've played defense so much of my life. Head forward, put your head forward and go, bro. That's what, I'll never forget that my mentor told me that too. It's like, go. Whatever your dream is, whatever you got in your heart that you cannot let go year after year, even if you failed, even if you aren't where you want to be, bro, go. You're powerful. You got it in you. Stop freaking doubting yourself, man. Show yourself that you can, right? Like, we're all in this together, man. But guys, if you have any questions, reach out via DM on Instagram. I'm always here to help. I'm always here to support. If you haven't joined my free school community, go ahead and check it out in the description. The Becoming Movement, where I'm helping you break free. I'm helping you become who you're always meant to be and create a reality that reflects your true potential. Bro, if there's stuff that you got to deal with that you haven't dealt with inside of you, usually it's one main thing. I got a free course in there called Courage Unleashed. The school community is free, bro. And there's a lot of free tools in there for you as well. Go through it. Go through the course. You're going to find the truth. You're going to do the inner work. I take you through a very specific process that I've created called the Truth Process. And it's going to help you finally unravel what's really going on in your subconscious mind, so you can finally deal with it and move on, right? And stop getting out of your own way, bro. I'm telling you, it took me years to finally stop doing that. But again, I'm here for you guys. I hope you've been enjoying these this new podcast. I'm gonna be putting out an episode every Tuesday. That's the plan. And And I can't confirm an exact time just yet, but every Tuesday. All right. Thank you so much for all the support, all the downloads I've been seeing, and I'm really grateful. I really hope this supports you, and I really hope you see that you can have, be, and do anything, man. Don't let anything or anybody rob you from your dream. Don't let failure rob you from your dream. I'll see you in the next one.